when I have full bars. Let's go.
Hey, party people, what's up?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. I hit the button.
Oh, surprise, surprise. Hello, everyone. Welcome to LinkedIn Unlocked, episode 14. Super exciting episode. We have Mr. Brian Fink with us. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm having a good day. I'm rocking and rolling. It's been a busy day. I'm coming off of a great weekend. Christina, did you have a good Memorial Day weekend? I know we talked, so it's weird. It's weird that Christina and I relive this because she knows that I celebrated Maddie's birthday this weekend, and it was nonstop pandemonium. It was all the things. It was a new bicycle. It was crazy town.
Oh, how is the new bicycle? Sorry, talk about crazy town.
Dude, we're doing good. Like, she got on it and she rode. Like, that's it. Like, last night she just wanted to eat her dinner and to get on her bicycle, right? Like, it was amazing. It was something. It reminded me of like when I was a kid because I remember that my parents used to make me come in the house, eat my dinner, and then I could go back on the bike somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. So that is something that I got to live vicariously through Maddie. So that was a great moment to behold yesterday.
That's awesome. And everyone shout out happy birthday, Maddie. And let's see, can we get anyone in the comments to drop where are you tuning in from? Drop your LinkedIn. My favorite tactic, if you're ever joining any type of live event, is to drop your LinkedIn handle or your LinkedIn URL in the comments. I highly recommend, if you're joining in with us now, throw your LinkedIn URL in the comments. You'll get some connections. You know, we all want to win here. So really want to kind of push that self-promotion energy for this week's episode.
Well, okay. So look, about this episode, whether it's Cristina interviewing Brian or Brian interviewing Cristina, this episode is all about you. It's about a few different things that we're taking pretty seriously here right now on LinkedIn, on the platform, right? Is that, there are a lot of people, like I heard about it today. There were some people who were let go of work, and I can't think of a worse way to come back to losing your job after a holiday weekend. It is time for all of us to up our game on LinkedIn. It is time to optimize your profile, making sure that it is that your profile is your billboard to the world, right? Is that
it really is. Like, there should be no argument.
There should be no argument, but these are things that we've got to talk about. And so, Cristina, I know you've got questions.
Oh, I do.
Okay, all right. So, but I'm just like, I'm so fired up that I'm seeing people that are putting up the green banner. They're saying they're open to work, and I don't know that they're going about it in the right way. Like, I'm a green banner person. I think you should put the green banner up, but I think I know you're not, right? And that's one of those great things is that Cristina and I provide different perspectives. I think we can agree, though, that people need to have substance in their summary. They have to tell a story. Their story cannot just be, I'm out of work. It's about what you're passionate about, what you do, about what problems you've solved, using specific outcomes and metrics to back up your claims. It's bringing a gun to the gunfight, not sitting there and scrapping around with a knife. I think that's what I want to say. I think that's what I want to get started with.
Bring a gun to a knife fight, but you were saying equal.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can bring a gun to a knife fight, right? Just be ready to
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know how we got on the gun topic, but hello, Jolene Wolfanger. We are so pleased to have you tuning in from Pennsylvania. Love that you threw your URL in there. Let's get some connections to her. And I have very many thoughts on the green banner. Like yourself, we have different perspectives, and that's what LinkedIn Unlocked is all about, is the diversity and perspective. And we want to be thought provoking. It's no secret I'm no yes woman. So we want you to think differently about things and challenge, the norm. So that's what we're here for. And if there's anybody who crushes content, it's Mr. Brian Fink. Um,
I
and
try. I try.
and that is one thing. Like, if you're tuning in and you've never heard of Brian Fink, which is very unlikely, go follow him as well. um, I know a lot of you are here for him. So, with that being said, I thought it would be special. And what better way to show how to level up on LinkedIn than to ask the master himself? How long have you been on LinkedIn?
I've been on LinkedIn, I think since I think my LinkedIn anniversary is 20 is 2007. I think that's it.
Okay.
Or I can look that up, right? Like
I just got my 10-year anniversary email.
you did. So
That's the
they
longest
don't
relationship
they
I
don't
have with
send
it.
me emails, but you and I talk about this, right? Like that I don't read my emails from LinkedIn, and that's how come you're better at LinkedIn than I am, is that I'm
Did you guys hear that?
okay, that's gonna be the rehash clip. Okay.
See, we need to make a nice little clip right there. I am not better at LinkedIn than you. I just have more time on my hands to tinker.
So about that, right, is that you mentioned time, is that I put in an hour at the beginning of the day and an hour at the end of the day to go through LinkedIn and to have those conversations with individuals. Like if there's somebody who drops me a comment, I try to make sure I go and DM them. If I don't DM them, I want to make sure I respond to their comment, right? So it
Right.
takes me an hour at the top of the day and an hour at the bottom of the day, right? And so like, I've also you talked about my writing, right? I talked that you got to pull out your journal. Everybody has a journal app on their iPhone. Is that you've got or you
I
have
don't believe in digital journals.
or
See, I
you
don't
have
know what my StreamYard you show because mine seems to blur everything and I've tried to take it off.
okay, or you have a journal like this one right here, which is the 7-minute confidence journal that is by
7 minutes.
Miss Mosheri. Maddie would get mad if I gave you a Mrs. without jewelry, right? So the so the reality of this, and much more to the point of the conversation we're having, is that I try to journal in the morning and I journal in the evening, and I put those thoughts into circulation on LinkedIn. I'm trying to get better about putting those thoughts into circulation on on Threads and on Instagram, but like I'm failing at it, right? Like I'm trying to
Can I pause you
consistently.
there?
Yeah, what?
Failing to try at Threads and Instagram is inspirational to hear. I have been thinking about this. I haven't told you, but my next bit, I think, is I'm going to dive deep and try to figure out Instagram because I have avoided it out of fear of just I don't know how to grow on it, and I kind of
Well,
push. It's
the
like I use
person.
LinkedIn as a way to say I don't want to, or like I have enough, but
Well,
really I'm just
the person who knows how to grow it, and we should have him on, is Joel
Joel.
Alge, because Joel gave a banging presentation at Transform on how to deliver on Instagram. Now, I know how to source on Instagram and find talent on Instagram and do that at scale. But what I don't know how to do is how to build a following on Instagram. And I also go back to it and say, what's the point of having a following if you don't know how you're going to want to activate it? Like,
Or what its
on,
purpose is for.
yeah, what its purpose is for. What are you gonna like?
So that goes into my first question.
Ooh, question number one.
Question
Question number
number
one.
one. I should have had I was gonna make some banners for this, but my first question kind of goes into community management basics. You have over 42,000 followers, and I know that you've grown at least 4,000 in the past year. I don't know your stats, but I know just from the time that we've known each other that you had that goal of hitting 40, and that's that's part of it is setting your goals
Yeah,
because
but here's the thing is that you made this comment. So Christina opens up Brian's eyes sometimes to lyrics that I just kind of hum along. And one of the things that she did was like, she talked about the who's the rapper who made the comment about goals and hallucinations. I can't think of it, but like you texted me this the other day.
that wasn't a rapper, that was Gary V.
Okay, same thing. It's a rapper. Anyhow, so it's a rapper. Gary V. I just called you a rapper, right?
Yeah, shout out Gary.
Well, I mean, be an OG, right? Like I think it's a
Be a
compliment.
goat.
And yeah. So go there and deliver on different mediums. I don't expect Gary Vee to drop some kind of rap track. I think that's all Jesse Itzler, but whatever. So
Good if he
that's
would.
another story for another time, right? So wow, how many metaphors were caught up in that diatribe? So as we speak to that, I lost your question. What was your question about content?
My question, I didn't actually get to my question. So, how do you initially set the tone and guidelines for behavior within your online community? And this question is stemming from our push at Be Controversial. We push the, say what you want in the comments and give that raw, maybe controversial perspective or get people thinking, right? In other people's comments. But what happens when it comes on your profile?
Okay, so when it comes to my profile, I do one or two things. Is that I try to stop for a minute, take a breath, and think that whatever somebody has put out there, whatever comment they've made, that they come from the best place possible. Okay. Even if somebody is making fun of my weight, like somebody is doing right now in one of my comments, is
What?
they're saying, yeah, they're saying that all I eat are breadsticks, pizza, and beer. That's
And what?
fine. And what's wrong
You
with
feel
that? As long as it's
defensive immediately. I hate that. I hate to hear that for you. And you
but
know,
but the reality of it is there are people that make those types of comments, right?
mm,
I have to imagine in the back of my head that this person is making that comment because they're worried about my health and they're worried about my obesity. And maybe that's what's motivating them, not the fact that they feel bad about themselves.
see,
It's a it's a little different. It's at two
you
degree
just
it's at
changed
two
my
degree switch.
perspective.
Yeah. So I had a when I was in therapy, and we've talked about this before, is that I highly recommend that if you need somebody to talk to, that you find somebody to talk to, interview them until you get the right person. But I had one therapist years ago, and it stuck with me about my anger, about my temperament. He said, "What would it be like if you were at a bar and you were out with this striking young woman who was wearing a white dress and somebody bumped into her and spilled red wine all over the white dress? What would you do?" And my
I,
immediate reaction was, I would hit him.
oh no,
Okay.
I went to soda water.
Okay. So exactly. Everybody goes to a different place, but I'm quick to temper. So I have to take a deep breath. Right. And he
Mm.
said, "Brian, how would you feel if the person who bumped into your date was somebody who was blind and they had no knowledge, they didn't realize that they had accidentally done this, right? How would you feel?" And I was like, "I feel awful that I punched a blind person for making a simple mistake. That's it, right?" So whereas somebody's making that kind of comment, you got to stop and take, and like Christina, like you and I, like sometimes I'm like I need to sit in this for a minute, right? Because if I come back and I go full fire, I'm not I do not want to be responsible for the repercussions of my action. Okay.
Brian and I both get a little spicy sometimes.
Yeah, a little hot, a little hot. And actually I got a little spicy today on Substack as I started talking about ageism and how people are using culture as a weapon to promote ageism in the workplace, whether it's not hiring somebody who is younger or whether it's not hiring somebody who's older, right? Is that we're using all those different means to perpetrate. I hate the term culture. I really do. Um,
I wasn't
it,
gonna
I,
go there today, but like since you said it,
well,
corporate
I feel
culture
that
is a scam. It's a
No, I
scam.
don't think it's a scam. I think it's a weapon that's used to exclude people from participating in the broader conversation.
It's like imposter syndrome. It's
No, how's it like imposter syndrome? I'm missing this.
because I feel like it's intentionally brainwashing you.
Oh, okay. Well, by that token, I can agree with that. But I was thinking, see, I didn't take a breath, I didn't take a pause and try to figure out where you were coming from, and I got right.
I remember like when I first got into tech, it was like every single person was like imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. It was so much, right? And everybody just didn't feel like they were qualified enough for the role that they were hired in. And I don't know, maybe it's my neurospiciness, but I just could never relate. I'm like, I I don't feel like an imposter at all.
You,
It
you
was
know,
really weird just to learn that. And it's like it's been manufactured and sold to people to keep them yes men or yes
keep
humans.
them down. No, keep them down. Like, here's the thing I do talk about, and I talk about this probably once every 2 months on LinkedIn, is that there's value in saying no. When you say no, you stand up for the most important person in your life. Christina, who is the most important person in your life?
Me.
Exactly. But when you say yes,
Scared
you
to say that for a second. Is
and
that
well, it's weird. No, it's weird for us to stand up for ourselves and for us to be this voice of empowerment and encouragement to ourselves. Like we can do it all day long, and I can say, Christina, you're a badass. Go out there, fucking crush it. All these things, right? But for you to say it to yourself,
if you
it
would have
was
asked
it
me
was
that 7 years ago, I would have given you a different answer.
absolutely right. It's like I was having breakfast this morning with Jason Singer. Shout out to Jason Singer. Um, not the
Oh,
right. Oh, he got spicy, right?
yeah, let's see it.
The word culture has always been used the way Fink says. It was apparent earlier than 2010 that not the right culture was the buzzword for anyone not desired at a company.
Oh my
It
God,
was and
hold right
still
there.
is hard to ride the train of culture when selling a role.
Sometimes I forget about these things. Like when I had the aha moment about the resumes and how we look at a PDF printout like we actually printed out still from 2015, I forget about these things and how the like rejection was you're just not a culture fit.
What did I use? Wrong, use the wrong color paper or the wrong color font? What the hell does that mean?
It is so wrong, and it's crazy how back then we thought it was okay.
Again, well, it's not okay. It's not
It's not,
okay,
not
and
okay.
that's the conversation that we're having today, right? Actually, that was a great tangent we got off on. I'm glad
Yeah,
we could do that thing.
I just
Yeah.
want to circle back to that. So for the community management basics on your profile,
Step
there.
one, take a deep breath and assume positive intent. Number two, if there's something or someone that you disagree with, send them a DM and say, hey, I didn't understand what you were trying to say. If they come back, I mean, it's real simple. I didn't understand what you were trying to say. You're asking them to show you who they are. Okay.
Mhm.
It's, yeah, it's just that simple. And if they don't
Yeah.
want to come back and say anything in the DMs, leave it and let it be. You put the ball in their corner. It's up for them to bring it back to you. And do not let these comments take up real estate in your head. It doesn't matter if it's a good comment or a bad comment, right? Like Christina, I have people who are like, hey, this is a great comment, this is a great thing that you said, you should say more things like that. That has to be taken, unfortunately, with the same grain of salt as a negative comment.
So those three you summarized in 3 points. I just want to, can I ask you to repeat the second one? Because that one was good. That was saucy. You said assume,
Positive intent,
period.
period. Assume positive
That right
intent.
there is something I have to write down and adapt.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal: is that look at Maddie for a minute here, okay? I realize that I'm talking about an 8-year-old, and I'm using her as an example, but Maddie really wanted 3 different Lego kits for her birthday. Christina has heard me complain about this, okay? So this is nothing new to Christina. But to all of you, it's me telling my daughter no. So there were a few things. One, I stood up for myself. And two, I assumed positive intent that that she likes building with Legos. And three, I went back to it and said, hey, let's take a breather here for a second. Do you really need 3 sets of Legos, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
only build or play with one at a time. And I had that deeper, more meaningful conversation with Maddie so that I could help elevate her in her place. That's the same thing as having that one-on-one conversation in the DMs.
I agree. I'm not great at transitions, but can I get to the next one? Or Jason
You can,
actually,
or Jason.
yeah, let's get to Jason. So Jason said, how does recruiting handle telling a truth to an interviewee who is not going to get the job? That is a great question.
Okay, so Jay, real quick, I think recruiters are perceived that we're in the yes business, but we're in the no business. And what I mean by that is that so real quick, everybody who's tuning in unfortunately has probably had to apply for a job on LinkedIn in the past 5 years. And one thing that LinkedIn does is it says 1,200 people have applied to this job, right? I don't think doing that vanity metric is helpful, but if 1,200 people apply to the job, that means that the recruiter is going to hand out 1,199 no's. That means the recruiter is in the no business, not in the yes business, right? And so
And so
when a recruiter has a hard conversation with a candidate that they've worked with, and they're telling the truth to an interviewee about why they did not get the role, they've got to be honest with them and say, look, you put your best foot forward. Unfortunately, somebody beat you out and beat you to the punch on that opportunity. I love working with you. If you love working with them, you tell them you love working with them. If you don't love working with them, then do not include this. But if you say I loved working with you, would you take my phone call in the future?
Command Z is where I make marks of good things. That is a great line that I will be using. I kind of just assume in my recruitment that I, I'm I'm not good at beating around the bush when it comes to telling somebody that they're not going to get the job. I tend to rip the band-aid off pretty quickly because that's the way I would like it to be done to me. But I do it in a very kind, empathetic way. And the amount of candidates that I've rejected that have brought forth referrals for the same role that they didn't get. Yeah.
So we may be in the no business, but we are also in the relationship business. And it is our
That's,
responsibility to build a bridge, to build a monument to someone else's career every time that we lay the stone.
yep. And that's as recruiters, as hiring managers, as anyone involved in the interview process. I think you do a really good job of, um, when I say brand reputation, I mean your brand reputation as a recruitment sourcing expert.
But you have to you can't have an off day. You have to put forth 110%, 110% of the time, right?
But
Is
Brian,
that
we're not robots.
I don't expect us to be robots. If we were robots, then AI would take every recruiting job that's out there.
So I had to you went there. So if we have to, we're not robots. And I'm gonna get a little woke here and say, I'm a woman. So I can't be 110% every single day.
Oh, it's very hard for anyone, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, whether you're non-binary. It doesn't matter who you are. Like Christina, you've seen me crack, right? Like Jason's seen me crack. Jason has seen me throw shit across the room, saying, "I wish that people would stop calling me. I need a minute." Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, like that's it. Like I remember in November that November 10th, 11th, and 12th, I said, Christina, I can't talk to anybody. I need to be in the moment this entire weekend. I'm not answering the phone. Do you remember that?
I don't. Oh,
I was
oh,
I was at Asher's son's bar mitzvah, and I
oh
said,
yeah.
I got to be in the moment.
Yep, I remember. And I was pushing because November November was when we started live streaming. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a very pushy time for me towards you. And we that goes into my next question, and I don't mean to segue so abruptly, but I do want to get this sauce to the audience. And for those who are going to watch this later, it'll be available on Spotify and our YouTube channel we're streaming live from. I was gonna do our TikTok too, but I didn't want to blow the house up. So the next one kind of goes. So I'm gonna in an effort to conserve time and get the most out of this. I have two questions that I'm going to shoot you with. So one's dealing with negativity versus encouraging positivity. So you and I talked on one of the last lives about being blocked. I was blocked. You were blocked. And
Oh
like the
yeah.
same week. In the same week. And it was something about comments, right? I was blocked for something I said in a comment that I stand by.
Yeah.
So what strategies do you use to effectively manage and reduce negative interactions in your community? And then the flip side of that, to encourage positivity, can you share techniques or tools you use to promote positivity and constructive discussions among the community members? And by community members, I mean all of the many people that engage in your posts, because you got that engagement.
All right. So let's talk about negativity for a quick second. I said that you got to assume positive intent, but sometimes you're just dealing with people who want to be assholes, right? And they're going to block you. If they choose to block you, that's because they couldn't deal with their shortcomings, not your realness, their shortcomings. Okay. So that's one. So if you take my content and you plagiarize my content, you pass it off as your own content, you have to deal with the repercussions, not me, right? Like that's not on me. I didn't do the thing. And then if you choose to block me because I called you out for it, not on me. I didn't make the decision. I just
Yeah, that was on you. You know what I think? See, and this is where the assume positive intent. I clearly need to apply that because I don't naturally. And my first thought is, oh, you have a post that's going right. You're getting traction. It's probably one of the best posts you've ever had. In my case, I was blocked because I said something about, and I'll stand by this, selfies on LinkedIn. And it's the proof is in the pudding. Like I have the proof to show.
dude, here is the reality of it. Don't use a selfie as your photo for your profile picture, but selfies, like, okay, Jason's on the call. I remember that there was one time that Jason and I went to breakfast at another Broken Egg Cafe, and this was a couple of months ago, and we took a selfie. We had 90 something engagements on that post, right? That post was seen by over 12,000 people. We've got the stats. LinkedIn gives it to you in creator mode, right?
Yep.
Jason and I, we're attractive, but we're not that attractive, okay? That was a selfie. That was a spur of the moment. LinkedIn wants to see your authentic self, and it wants you to bring your authentic self to work, which leads to the second question you had, because you said, Yo, B, what kind of tools do you have that influence positivity, right? You said that.
Yes, I
So
did.
all right, so there's a widget or a Chrome extension that I use that's called Magical, and you can find it at getmagical.com. GETMAGICAL.com. How much does it cost? If you know me, my favorite four-letter word that begins with an F is not that word that you're just thinking about. It's the word free. Okay? Get your mind out of the gutter. So it is free, and what you can do with it is it's a text expander that allows you to copy and paste, or I should say, just to paste repeatedly messages into different text boxes on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook. Uh, uh, you can use it on the desktop version of TikTok, and you can use it on Threads, right?
Okay.
But the reality of it is that I go through my network every Friday, and I send out to as many people as I can in the first hour of the day a message that says, "Hey, I hope you're going to have a great Friday. I'm thinking about you. I want to know what's up, what's going on in your world," right? The only thing that I am making about me is I say, "I'm thinking about you." When you insert the word "you," it is a magical word. Is it
Absolutely.
make it turns people into what's in it for me. Okay. I want to know how you are doing. How are you? Right. I have people who come back and they're like, "Oh, Brian, we haven't talked in so long, whatever." And I just go through all the connects of all the people who are in my inbox and all the connects of all the people that are on my 26,000 first line connections on LinkedIn, and just send them messages. Like this Friday or this past Friday, I sent messages to people saying, "Hey, I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. What do you got planned?"
Did
There's a
you
reason. Oh, I got blown up like ding, 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 ding.
but also, Brian, you're Brian Fink.
No, but I'm not. I'm everybody else. I just think differently about the relationship.
Tell me more. What piece now, um, what piece of advice would you give somebody who is on LinkedIn looking to, you've been doing a lot of posts about cold reach out lately.
Yeah, dude. Totally. All right. So
What is
here's the thing.
what's your one piece of advice if you could just give anyone in the audience to approach a cold reach out? And
Pick 10 people and ask them what you can do for them.
okay. Hey, Joe, what can I do for you?
All right. So if I was going to send the message, I'm going to say, I'm just going to go to LinkedIn right now. That's what I'm doing on the other screen. So I apologize if it looks like I'm all over the place. And I'm just going to type in the word David, and I'm going to see how many. I'm going to see how many. I'm going to see how many Davids come up. I've got. I'm do second connections, and I'm going to send a message to David Lightburn, who is the president of Atlanta Ventures. He has a gold symbol by his name on LinkedIn. I am not going to connect with him. I am going to send him a message.
Sorry, I had to call.
David, no worries, no worries. David is the president at Atlanta Ventures. He's the co-founder of the Atlanta Tech Village. He's helped startups raise over $2 billion in funding. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him a message that says, "David, noticed your success in the Atlanta ecosystem, period.
So cold reach outs to
Wondering,
your local.
yeah, wondering, and this is a second connection, wondering what's next for you? Question mark. What keeps you up at night? Question mark. Best, lowercase Brian."
So
I don't uppercase my name. It's a humility thing. That's it.
I gotta write that down. That's interesting. I always used to fight the argument about the best Christina, best Dan, whoever. There is data that shows, which I used to throw at anybody who would tell me to use best, that thank you, the response rate is significantly higher with a simple thank you than any other sign off.
Cold email manifesto.
Do they recommend best?
They recommend one word to sign off.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Okay, I'll send you the
My
book. I'll send you the
data
book.
may be old because I've been saying that for years.
So hold on real quick. This book is Um, when is this book from? This book is a December 22. It's a
Okay.
December 22. And as you can see, I've read it, I've marked it up, I've put sticky notes all in it. I am very competitive about my girl. I know. Is that seduction? Is that law of
Yeah,
seduction? Okay,
that's we need to get to the book. We're starting
a book club.
a book club because
All right.
Brian is an author. Brian has I have one of them here, which is all my books are in storage. So the fact that I have this is exciting. The main thing is the main thing. Available on Amazon. I know I gotta figure out how to fix that, but and he also has Talk Tech to Me on Amazon. I have the 7 Minute Daily Confidence Journal. We're book people.
Yeah, people of the book, right? So like we like to read. If I was gonna, as long as we're talking about books, if we're gonna do a book club, are we talking about doing
This
Gary
is our
V
one.
day trading?
Can you put yours? Because mine seems, oh, here. I don't know why it does that, but there we go. Day trading attention.
Day trading
That
attention.
is our June. You want to just say that'll be our June book? Because
Yeah, June book. We're gonna start reading it on Monday. And we're going to start talking about it on next week, right? So we'll start going through the pages of that. There's a whole section on here about how to build content and about how to create
oh,
engagement.
you did a little
Um,
bit.
no, I didn't read a little bit, but what I did is the book came open, and I really like the fact that it's written inside of columns instead of across the page, because
I like,
columns are easier for me to read than a full line of text.
oh, me too. I like this.
Yeah, so I can read this a little bit faster than if I'm reading Carol Dweck's Mindset, which I'm reading with Lauren. Laughlin right now. But yeah, so that's my thing.
Yeah, we love books. And so we're starting a thing. We're going to start with the book of the month for June will be the Gary V new release, Day Trading Attention. I have more questions. If you're ready for me,
Dun 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 dun
yeah,
dun
I want to
dun.
get this. So moderation tactics. What specific actions do you take when moderating con- contentious or harmful discussions?
So if it's a harmful discussion, I send the person a DM and ask them, "Hey, is that really what you meant?" Or if it's contentious, where so there was a post that I made about a year or so ago that I offended somebody because I compared the modern student loan to slavery, and they thought that that was an analogy where I had gone a little too far.
Mm.
So I reached out to them and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. Look, I can totally understand that, right? Like that is big and contentious, right? It's more than just contentious. It may have been ignorant on my part to have compared, but like,
We all make mistakes. We're human.
yeah, exactly. And I said, how would you like me to correct this? Because I wasn't taking down the post, but I would change some of the language in response to that.
I like that because I had asked somebody to take a post down that I really triggered me, and they would not because it was the most viral post they'll probably ever get in their life.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm not here for the chicks and the clicks. Okay.
Yeah, you get it, but you get it. Like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, here's the deal. Like, I try to tell people all the time that the person I write for is me. Is that a lot of the thoughts that I have, like the
but
post
you
that I wrote.
me to you, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, here's the deal. Is like the post that I wrote yesterday. I wrote a post on Substack to Maddie about the fact that I am so glad that I'm a dad and that I'm her dad, right? I think about it is that when I'm writing that, like I wrote it to me. I didn't, she's not going to jump on Substack and read it. today. She may do it in 20 years from now when I'm dead and gone, and she wants something to remember me by. Alternatively, when I'm telling people how to use LinkedIn, I am going out there and I am saying, this is what's working for me. I'm not saying this is what works for you. This is
Mhm.
what works for me. And I think that the power in that is that every time I write down my tactics, it gives me the opportunity to go in and to make them work better for me, right? Like the idea of 10 reach outs a week that are cold. That is an idea that I 100% blatantly stole from a Jesse Itzler seminar that I went to about reaching out to 10 people each week and getting on their radar or getting on their calendar. I blatantly stole it. The only other person that probably listens to this that knows that I stole it from Jesse Itzler is probably Adam, is the pause. Okay. He probably,
Which he's
yeah,
coming on soon.
he's coming on soon, but he's probably the only person who knows that I stole that from Jesse Itzler of our audience, right? Jesse Itzler, I'm training to run his 29029 race in 2025. It is a race up a mountain to simulate racing up Mount Everest. Yeah, so
Walking thing?
well, you could walk. I mean, like you could do the walk thing, like
Running?
if you wanted to. Well, you have 3 days to do the mountain, right? So
It's a
with
marathon.
a stick and what have you. Um, Jesse has a lot of things in Atlanta that he does for fundraising. This guy is a serial entrepreneur. He's had like 8 startups. He's had everybody from Marquise Jet to Zico Water. Um, really smart dude. He has Running Man, which is coming up the weekend after Wreckfest in Nashville, and it's a whole festival around running and walking and saunaing. There,
Huh?
we need to talk. We need to talk more,
We need to
Christine.
sidebar that. Okay. What did you say it was called? Running?
Running Man, like Running Man, like Burning Man, but it's a Running Man.
Yeah. Burning Man.
Woo!
Okay, so I know we are getting close to time, and I
Yeah,
want to save
we got
some
about
time.
3 minutes to go. Yeah.
I want to hit learning. I had 10 questions for you, and I know that we dove into about 5 to 6 of them. If you consider the other questions I had were about feedback handling and conflict resolution. So I think those we kind of talked about that.
Assume positive intent. Yeah.
That is, I wrote that down. That is, I'm all about observe and apply tactics. Brian, I'm taking that from you. I need it because I do not assume positive intent. Like when shit hits the fan, the last thing I'm thinking is, oh, they intended for this to be really the greatest, they had the greatest intentions in this. I'm thinking of the multiple different ways that they did not. So my takeaway from this live is assume positive intent. It's like proven innocent. What's the law term? Proven innocent.
Guilty, innocent until proven guilty.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, no worries.
And so I love that. I think that that's a huge takeaway from this live. Now, when it comes to growth, I want to touch on. So we got and we did a little bit of tools. You gave the
Get
original
magic.
Get Magically. I put a banner up there, so it is everybody has access to the URL where they can get that attachment extension. So I want to go to growth and learning because, man, do I love both of those things. So
you can't have one without the other, Christina.
I know that. I think I did an interview with LinkedIn, and I love their learning platform. And their internal team didn't love their learning platform as much as I did, which was shocking to me.
Well,
Because
I, I,
Sorry, I
Um,
just dropped a bomb there.
no. I mean, like here's the piece is that I think that if you're going to work for an organization and if you're going to be recruiting, which is marketing and sales, fight me on the sales piece, people. Fight me. Bring it. Okay.
Yes,
Is marketing and sales is that we are the tip of the spear. If you don't believe in the organization and the product, you don't need to be in the recruiter seat. You're selling lies. You're not selling a vision. You're not selling you're
right?
not selling a purpose and a set of goals. You're just not. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Now, I'm gonna just rebuttal you a little bit on the marketing and sales equals recruiting. Um, I have been all about sales. I've been the one I'll never forget. We were in front of a group of HR professionals, and I didn't really realize that they were more traditional HR backgrounded professionals that we were talking to, and I just kind of blurted out that I thought it was just uh it didn't make sense to me that recruiting has always been stuck with HR, and then I think that it needs to be with sales. And I still believe that, and I still more so now than ever think that marketing, it's like when all the recruiters got laid off, myself included, the marketing team did too. And they looked at anybody that wasn't revenue generating and cut them. And sales is only as strong as the collateral that they have to use, the value they can offer, right? So you need, especially now in shorts and reels time, and you need the content. So my argument here is that I think as I've grown in this unemployed era, that it's more than just marketing and sales. I think it's lead generation by way of social media strategy, content.
All right, so this brings up an interesting one is that there is a an automated SDR
I
app.
hate that. Ugh, I hate that.
Yeah, that was in the Wall Street Journal. I'm trying to remember their name. I think it was like Alice.ai or something like that. And I'm
Atlas? Oh,
Alice. Yeah,
I
like
just,
Alice in Wonderland.
as somebody who was on a project to globally in Eastern Europe to grow a global business development team, I just I'll be the first one. I love AI. I love technology. I do not think you can automate a first impression. I maybe that's the wrong way to say it. It's not that I don't think you can. I just don't think it's good business, and I don't
Well,
like it personally. I
no,
don't
I don't like the synthetic nature of it, right? Like I
take
call
these
it synthetic. Yeah, yeah.
So with that, I go to learning.
All
How do
right.
you stay updated with the best practices for community management and adapt them to new challenges? Now, that's a loaded question for you because you stay updated.
Okay, so real quick, that I would say is almost so. There's a CRM called HubSpot, HubSpot.com, and HubSpot allows you to take classes on everything from SEO and
Mhm.
SEM and
Those free.
they're free class. Yeah, oh, four-letter word, free. So they are free. You just need to have a corporate email address or log in with Google, and you can take those courses. There are a lot of them. There's no charge to them. Their CRM is even free. It's the way that they monetize is they make money by selling you the add-ons to their application. But so I keep up to date with that. That's number
Really?
one. Number yeah. So I go on there all the time and do courses. Um, Number two, I try to read a book a week, right? I averaged last year about 41 books. As you guys can tell, my my book is, I mean, like my desk is covered in books that I've recently either received as
Wait, say
gifts.
that. I just wanted to mark it.
Yeah. We've got Day Trading by Gary Vaynerchuk. We've got Business Made Simple by Donald Miller, who wrote the Story Brand. We've got Christina Mosheri and the 7 Minute Confidence Journal. We have The Anxious Generation on about how social media is rewiring. So all the books, right? I'm trying to read.
Apollo.
Yeah.
This is my favorite book.
I,
Number one.
I told you, I was like, you got to get a hold of that book.
This book is the best thing that ever happened to me. Like the pages are gold. If you have not read The Alchemist, I highly suggest it. It'll definitely be on one of our monthly for the book club.
Yeah, I think The Alchemist definitely deserves a spot there.
Yeah.
So Christina, like about learning about all these things is that one, I do HubSpot. Two, I subscribe to about 3 or 4 newsletters. I get their I patent drop, which is a once a month new or once I it's not every day, and all it is about patents that people have put out.
Is it free?
And yeah, it's free. It breaks it down and makes it real simple. I read HR Brew. I read Tech Brew. I read one to keep up with my industry that I am a part of as a recruiter, and then the other one I read to keep up with technology and changes. And then I subscribe to No Mercy, No Malice by Scott Galloway, which is another free newsletter, and that one keeps me in touch with that one. That one helps with my humanity because sometimes I can be a little an automaton, a robot, and what have you. But it recently it's really talked about the decline of democracy. It's talked about the decline of manhood and what that means to be masculine in this era, and a lot of good stuff there, a lot of different things. So I read a lot of that stuff. And then Scott Galloway has a podcast that he does called Pivot that talks about trends in technology and in culture.
It's
Like
the
culture.
red thing. I've seen it.
Yeah. So it's called Pivot. It's with Kara Swisher. It's very insightful. It's a good place to get into. But like those are the knowledge norms. And then the other thing is, guys, you got to write for yourself. Is that write about what you think about when you wake up in the morning. If you're not going to write, I know that I'm going to say something that's going to offend some people. If you're not going to write in the morning and you're not going to write at night, make sure you pray and get right with whoever it is that you pray to. That's it.
You know, and I will say, we're starting a book club, and also June 1st, I am starting where I will be sharing my 30-day challenge I will be sharing my journal entries every day for the month of June to show. Yes. So I think that it's a good way to help. When I first started reflective journaling 2 years ago, I had a change in my life where I moved out and I was alone, and I was learning how to kind of sit in that, and journaling every day gave me a book full of content from a year that I can remember exactly when I go back to those entries. I can remember how I was feeling when I wrote those. So I think that we're in a world where committing to anything is just hard because our attention is being, grabbed by every angle. So in order to lead by example, I'm going to be doing that for everyone. It'll be available on my profile, and our TikTok's doing pretty well. Been unlocked, by the way.
Yeah, I keep getting notifications, but I'm not logging into TikTok right now. So,
Just had to drop that. Everybody, I know this is kind of a rough wrap up, but we covered a lot of ground. If somebody can drop a comment in the chat, hashtag replay, that will cue it out to other people in your network and in our networks to get access top of their feed to watch this. And I think, Brian dished out some seriously juicy tips here for you. So, the assume positive intent, like, round of applause for that, Brian. That was awesome. All of the tools that you provided were, that's gold. Jason Singer wanted gold. I think we did it.
The gold has been delivered. The gold is coming.
So with that being said, I know we usually go through Q&As. I did offer, is this episode recorded for review?
Yes.
Yes, Jason, it is. I usually upload it to YouTube. I'm sorry, it goes live from YouTube. I usually upload it straight to Spotify after we go live. I do have a bit of a different schedule today, so it might not be there until later on tonight. But yes, and I do record it, and you're able to come back to it. So every one of our episodes, and if anybody is not following LinkedIn Unlocked page, we're hoping that once we hit that minimum requirement that LinkedIn has for us, that we'll be able to house everything there, and it'll just be a whole lot easier for you to find us. So it's just the growing pains, and yes, the episode is recorded, and if you need it, you can find it on my page, and yeah, it's available all the time, and you can find it on Spotify and YouTube as well. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up. Brian, thank you so much for this. I mean, gold.
Dun, 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 dun,
Last thing, next week, we're moving to Mondays. I don't know if
Monday, fun day, Monday.
We started with Mondays, then we switched to Thursdays, and as I've said before, we're not shy to our live growing pains. Okay, so we're back to Mondays, and this Monday we have a very special guest.
Do tell.
Just did. If you see me like typing and now you think I'm not listening to you, I'm just creating banners.
All right. Well, hey,
I'm not wrong, right?
The Ben Mina's coming to the big show. Yeah.
Yeah, Monday.
He's going to do it before he does Recruit DC.
Sweet.
Which, by the way, Recruit DC, we love you. We're excited about you, Recruit DC. We want you to have an awesome event next week. There are a lot of events going down next week. There's Recruit DC. There is Talent 42. We want next week to be a big week.
Talent 42, that's part of SourceCon, right?
Yeah.
Okay, shout out Joshua Jones.
All right, party people.
All
Cristina,
right.
it has been awesome. I will catch you soon.
See you soon. Thank you for all of your insights today.
Awesome, guys. We'll do this again soon. Thank you, everybody.